Howdy, world. How are we doing this morning? Kitty Good morning, Gemma. Good morning. I'm glad everybody is here. So far, we have a lot more people than have said hello. But that's okay. I'm sure people will say hello in a minute. I have 3 people on YouTube, and there are 19 on all the other social media so far. Maybe they'll say hello, maybe they won't. You. Kevin Brand, good morning. Good morning from South Carolina. Good morning, Kevin. I hope you're doing well. Mike Stevens, Allah Akbar. Mike, did you know that I do comedy skits on another channel? And I brought back K-Dog. Just saying. 18 hours that the video's been up, and nobody's watched it. Nobody's watched it. But, oh well. Hey, that's the way it goes. Sometimes the announcements go out to people, and sometimes they don't. You have to live with the YouTube algorithm, I guess. It's like 18,000 people watched, Dr. Feelgood, and then like crickets for the next one. All right, it's gonna say host. This is me. At CDXINOW. The Roman numerals, CDXI is Roman numerals for 411. But CDXI. Good morning, Gayla. Welcome, 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 everyone. Give it another couple minutes here. Jan, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to this morning's Coffee Brew. News recap and then chat, or say at the same time chat. Lemon Pie. Good morning, Lemon Pie. I hope you are doing well. Maureen, good morning. Welcome to this morning's Coffee Brew. What you see scrolling along the bottom there, those are the different case updates or things that I've been following and reporting on. Got a couple extras that I haven't reported on that I'm still researching. Good morning, Gemma, again. Good morning from I didn't read the part. New York City. New York City. The old Pace Pecani sauce commercial. Every time I hear New York City, I always think of that Pace Pecani sauce commercial from I don't know, it was the late 80s, 90s. Pace Pecani sauce from New York City. Get a rope. You now have 35 subs. Well, thank you, Mike. The video on Dr. Feelgood did really well on on Facebook and on Twitch. Get a rope. Yep. It's fun, trying to remembering back to commercials, from your youth or videos that, a lot of the newer generation, younger generation don't remember, like Calgon, Take Me Away. You can't make commercials like those anymore. Or ancient Chinese secret. You can't say stuff like that anymore, especially not in a commercial. But 4 out of 5 doctors prefer Camel Straight cigarettes. What did the 5th one prefer? Pall Mall? I thought about you. You want to eat that pickle commercial? I don't know why. It's good to see everyone. Good evening from the UK. Good evening from, well, good morning from the United States. Good evening to you. Okay, we're gonna get into this morning's news recaps, and maybe you caught these stories, maybe you didn't. But let's start off with Danny Masterson. Danny Masterson, I know this is over a week old, but I missed last week because I didn't have any internet. So a couple of these stories I'm just catching up on again. But Danny Masterson, you might have remembered him as Hyde from That 70s Show, was found guilty of rape. Now, he has a plethora of different avenues to appeal. I'm not saying he's not guilty. I'm just saying that they played really loose with some of the laws in California there to actually convict him and charge him in the first place. And these are avenues to appeal that just on that basis alone, there are 4. And then he has 2 additional ones for instructions that were given to the jury. So that's 6 total avenues to appeal right there on the conviction. So, but he was found guilty. And then now on to my most, least favorite. She's in at least my top 10 least favorite people. Jodi Arias was in the news. She's been moved to what's called a medium-low part of the Department of Corrections where she's currently housed. Medium-low is the security level. She was in advanced medium, but now she's at medium low. She's still working in the prison library and helping others find legal precedents so they can file appeals. And she's been doing that for quite a few years, but I know a couple of different channels did some streams on her. I caught one last night, actually. I think that the people who are running that channel should do some more research because they were off on some things about Jodi. But regardless, she's been moved from one security level to another, and she has along with moving her from the one security level to another, she has more freedom of access and movement within the prison now than she did before. But she apparently is going to be keeping her job in the prison library. All right, moving on from her, catching up. Cuba Gooding Jr. You might remember him from the Jerry Maguire movie, or Sled Dogs, or even he didn't like that movie, but he was in it. Was found not guilty on another charge, but this is not the end of his legal battles. He's been convicted and taken a plea agreement once before, but he has 2 additional charges that are still outstanding. This one came from someone he met, convinced to go back to his hotel room, and they found him not guilty of rape and forcible sodomy. Would have said in the report that, and that's this actual series of charges. But again, he has additional charges that are still upcoming. Good morning, Cement Shoes. Gary in the, it went by. Where the hell did it go? Sorry, I started to read it and it went by. Hold on, I gotta scroll back up. Gary in the Dinghy Diver. Good morning. All right, I'll try to catch up here to the chat in just a minute. But Janice, good morning as well. Richard Allen. He is the accused murderer of Abby and Libby. And this past week, it came out in court on Thursday that he confessed to killing Abby and Libby 5 or 6 times. Now, I'm going by just the court transcript. I started off with just that. Then the Associated Press's article on it, the news release about that article. Two reporters from Indiana, one from the Indiana Times and another one from a local television station. So that's the transcript, Associated Press, the two reporters, and then the update. But initially, the report that came out from the transcript was that, the DA said he confessed 5 or 6 times. He did not say it was all in jail. It was all before he went to jail or jail and before. He only said that he confessed 5 or 6 times. The one attorney interrupted him and said that, yes, he knew that the statements that, that he had made were damaging. Then the prosecuting attorney started speaking again. And then his second attorney said that, basically they don't dispute that he confessed to these people, but he believes that his mental health and his deteriorating physical health is the reason why. Excuse me. I have a video coming out on this right after this morning's live stream, so stick around for that. Additionally, though, I'll get into where the possible how accurate, how believable, or how credible, if you want to say, the people he confessed to are. I'll get into that in the video that's coming again up after this live stream this morning. Good morning, Purple. All right. Next, Lori Vallow. Through her attorneys, they filed a motion to ask for a new trial based on information that was released in the media that one jury member had said to the jury that he had spoken about the trial, with his wife, blah, 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 or maybe he did it beforehand. They argued back and forth when he actually said it. Some media outlets said he talked to her during the trial. Other ones said he talked to her afterwards. They say it was during. The prosecution says it was after. He said, came back out, put it out another statement, and said it was during this time. But regardless, that was one of the reasons they asked for a new trial. Then additionally, they said it was jury instructions. And then they argued, how much makes a conspiracy? Does it have to be 5 people, like the grand jury, was told, or is a conspiracy just 2 people, just her and Chad? Could that be a conspiracy? Regardless, whatever a conspiracy is or not, in the state of Idaho, Judge Boyce, who found her guilty and ruled over the entire case, he said, no, you don't qualify for a new trial, and hand it down. That's why there's the Court of Appeals. If you want to appeal your conviction, you have all the avenues to appeal. So Lori Vallow will not get a new trial. Next, good old Chad Daybell. Mr. Chad, Mr. Humpty Dumpty, Turtle Boy, whatever you want to call him. It's not an April Fool's joke. His trial is set to start on April 1st, 2024. Now, there are a total of 7 motions right now that have been filed by the defense in this case that have to be rectified before the trial can start April 1st. And for Chad. All the evidence that that is pertainable that was used in the trial against Lori can and will be used against Chad. You can bet that. Plus, there's a whole lot more that is going to tie Chad to the disposal, dismemberment, and the burning of Tylee. Sorry for getting graphic, but I have to tell you the facts. And then where JJ was in correlation to where he was standing, supposedly getting rid of that raccoon. But all of that is going to definitely come in, along with where he was, who he called the morning that Tammy was found deceased. And who did he call before 911? How did he, and what did he do afterwards? All that's going to play in against Chad at trial. So, and I'm still researching Van Sloot, I think that's how you pronounce it, Vandersloot, and being brought back, for trial. I'm still researching that. I know a lot of people have messaged me and asked me about it, but I'm still looking into it. I've had a lot other, things, cases on my plate, but I am looking into it still. And hopefully I will be able to do a video on that this week coming up. And so that's it for the updates on cases and things that I've been looking into. If you have a case or something that you want me to look into or make a video about, put it in the comment section, not here on the live stream, but afterwards. I'll see it, underneath the actual video itself. Okay, Inner Peas, welcome. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind on the chat. I'll scroll back up to where I last left off. Damn, throat is itchy this morning. Hope everyone had a wonderful week, though. Anyone here from Winks to know if she's doing well? Oh, I thought she was here. Rhea made it just in time. Well, good morning, Rhea. It's a beautiful name. I have a niece named Rhea. Well, her full name is Caesarea, but we call her Rhea. Welcome to this morning's new, Crime Brew, where I just did the recap, and now we're going to have an open chat, discussion, questions. Glad you could be here with us, though. I know Gayla, to answer about Purple, and I don't know if she's here, if she commented or not, but she just had surgery and she wasn't doing well. But she's recovering, I believe. Yeah, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. I would appreciate it. I would love to be able to get, at least 50% someday, for one of these streams. That's my goal. I don't ask for much, just a lonely thumbs up and maybe a subscribe from the viewers who like my content. Flab Dumbbell or Chinless Chad, Chud, all good nicknames for him. Still laughing at Chud Daybell, Dumbbell. So, good morning, So. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well, So, and welcome to this morning's coffee brew. Everyone, make sure to subscribe and turn on that bell so you don't miss trivia night tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow we are doing the Hollywood Life and Murder. Hollywood Life and Murder tomorrow night. That's at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Every Sunday night we do trivia. It's 15 multiple choice questions plus one bonus question, and one question that is posted every Monday on the community tab. That's advance notice to let you know what the subject matter for the next coming Sunday is. Damn. Sorry about the coughing. How is it legal for them to record his conversation with his lawyer in the Delphi case? Well, it's not. They can't use anything that he says, Rhea, to answer your question. That is privileged information, but they record all phone calls between attorney, doesn't matter who it is, attorney and client, but they must delete and they cannot use anything that they may be able to learn from that conversation. Now, you have to understand at the same time, though, there's a lot of misinformation that is out there on the internet, particularly about the Delphi case. A lot of high-profile cases out there where people will report things, and you might even find them on a website. You might find them on, on a YouTube video or online, someone's linked to what looks like, a news site. I'm not saying that's the situation here with the phone calls. I'm just saying that when it comes to high profile cases, a lot of times you will see a lot of misinformation that is being spread out there, and people are trying to pass it off as real news. So, but I don't know particularly about the phone calls, if they recorded them. I know this much though. That's client between the client and the actual attorney. That's privileged information. If they did record that information and they have to delete it, that would be a constitutional violation of privacy between the client and attorney privilege. How is it? Okay, I read that. That is midnight my time, but I'll stay up. Oh, you don't have to, sweetheart. You can always, watch it later on. 4 p.m. is midnight in the UK. Well, I'm sorry about that. All good. The grandkids left, and I'm resting up a bit. I had an interesting conversation the other day, Gayla, with my mother-in-law. We were talking about snickerdoodles and snickerdoodle recipes. So I have a question for you. We were going through different recipe books, like her grandmother's recipe book for snickerdoodles, her mom's recipe book for snickerdoodles, and then we start going through like different cookbooks that I have with recipes for snickerdoodles. And I know that you like to make them for your hubby, and one of these days we're hoping that the world will be able to enjoy your snickerdoodle recipe, live here on one of these morning streams or whatever. But anyways, the question I have for you is, do you put nutmeg in your snickerdoodle recipe? They were asking about you last week, Inner Peas. Was like, where's Inner Peas? Is she okay? No nutmeg? Okay. No, that's something that my mother-in-law's her grandmother put nutmeg in her snickerdoodles. Her mom put nutmeg in her snickerdoodles, but my mother-in-law, somewhere along the line, she cut nutmeg out of her recipe. It's about a 50-50 mix for the different snickerdoodle recipes that we found in different cookbooks. Martha Stewart has one where she puts actual nutmeg in it, but she has another one where she excludes the nutmeg in the snickerdoodles, but put I think it wasn't cinnamon, because obviously cinnamon's going to be in it, but it wasn't allspice. It was something else that she had in the second one. So me and my mother-in-law, what we're planning on doing is we're going to make 2 different batches, and then we're going to do a blind taste test with my family to see, which one do they prefer. Everything's going to be exactly the same, except for one's going to have nutmeg in it and one's not going to have nutmeg. We're going to see what, if they enjoy it. I don't know if I'll ever make a video out of it. Me and my mother-in-law cooking and making snickerdoodles, but hey, we want to see what does just our family, what do they prefer? Is 2 pounded for snickerdoodles? I don't think I've ever had snickerdoodles with nutmeg in it, because I don't think that. I wish I had my great grandmother's recipe, book, but my sister does, and she lives in upstate Minnesota. So can I get her to take a photocopy of it or a picture of it and send it to me? It's hit or miss just getting a hold of her, because she's retired and she doesn't go on to social media that much. Oh. Put cream of tartar in snickerdoodles. Cream of tartar. What is a snickerdoodle? Gemma, is a cookie. It's a fabulous cookie. My daughter I love snickerdoodles, and so my daughter calls my cookies, and I'm not trying to offend anybody here, but she calls them my basic bitch cookie. I like basic cookies. I like basic crackers. I don't like crackers that are heavily loaded with garlic or parmesan. I like a plain cracker. I like a simple cookie like a snickerdoodle. And snickerdoodles are a cookie that has sugar and powdered sugar, cinnamon and sugar on the top of it. A lot of people do it that way. Some people don't even put like a coating of sugar on top. But it's a cookie. Cookies are biscuits. Yeah, but here in America, a biscuit is completely different than a cookie. It's kind of reversed the way you guys, the people in the UK are here. Um, I'm drawing a blank on what a cookie from the UK that I know of, that refer to it as. You won't see the name on Pepperidge Farms cookies. Biscuits. Regina, good morning and welcome. Cookie, yum yum. You can't leave a single stream that I have and not be hungry. Peanut butter cookies are your fave inner piece? Oh, I'm gonna have to go with that too. I love a good peanut butter cookie. My mother-in-law makes a peanut butter what the hell they call that? I call it peanut butter crack. So you have to excuse me for a minute here. It's drawing a blank. We gotta think of what the real name is. I've been calling it peanut butter crack for so long. Peanut brittle. So like a regular peanut brittle, but she makes it with chunky peanut butter, and then she sprinkles more peanuts in it, and then she sprinkles in hot sauce. So it's got a little bit of it's got that peanut butter and then that bite of the hot sauce, mixture all in the peanut brittle. So you break it apart like peanut brittle. Oh my God, it's so good. I absolutely love it. Sugar cookies with sugar on top is your favorite. Yeah, Mike, that's basically what a snickerdoodle is. Sounds good. Oh yeah. No basic bitch on Pepperidge Farms. No, but Pepperidge Farms, I think they put crack in there because you can't just have one, kind of like Pringles. Long time no see. I hope Mike's been doing good though. Allah Akbar. Cookie Monster. Nom 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 nom. Puppy Chow? Will, are you planning to do another podcast video? Love them. Yes, Gemma. But this week the taco podcast video won't get released today. It will get released tomorrow by 9 a.m. We've already shot the video. I just have no time right now today to actually get it edited and get it up. I was really hoping to, but this past Wednesday was the last day of school for my son for the summer vacation. So he's been home with me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I had no time to edit it before this morning. So normally the taco podcast videos go up today by 10 a.m., but I'm going to have to put it off till tomorrow. After the stream this morning, I'm going to actually have time to edit that video and a couple others, but it's going to have tomorrow by 9 a.m. I will have the taco podcast video up on the channel. Sorry about the day delay. Mike has never had snickerdoodles. You got to find yourself a cookie store, something like a store that specializes in cookies. Can't eat sweets anymore, but used to enjoy white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. Ooh. That sounds good. White macadamia. I like macadamia nuts by themselves, but they're expensive. If you ever do meet and greet guests, I know what I'm bringing. Yes. If I ever make it to California, sorry, my sister was just there this past weekend in California. She was down in the Sacramento area. She was down there for a high school graduation this past week. They were there for 5 days. They found it alarming that they went to a 7-Eleven and they couldn't buy beer at a 7-Eleven. I don't like they were near the Sacramento area, but I don't know if they were actually in Sacramento itself. Like the family friend was graduating from high school in Sacramento, but they were complaining, texting me, "I'm at 7-Eleven. You can't buy beer here." And I'm like, I don't. What do you want me to do? Call the 7-Eleven, the corporation, and get them to start selling beer at their stores? I don't know why they do it. I'm not in California. Ooh, Inner P, you used to work at Mrs. Fields. Ooh, that would have been at least a fun job to me. But then again, I probably would weigh about 400 pounds. We used to have a Mrs. Fields here in our local mall, but the local mall is, well, let's just say the good days of the mall experience are long gone. Here now, our mall is down to, it used to have like 20, 25 stores. Plus, it was bookended by two major outlets. One end had J.C. Penney's on it, and the other end of it had Montgomery Ward's. And then Montgomery Ward's closed, and then it became a Sears store. And now J.C. Penney's store is gone, except for the hair salon and a little bit of women's clothing. That's all that's left in that J.C. Penney. They closed the second floor to that store, and Sears is completely gone, and it's now an Amazon call center. Will, have you ever heard about the NBA veteran Tony Snell has come out as autistic? I just uploaded it. All right. No, I have not. I know who Tony Snell is, though. Wow, I didn't know that. Mike, did you ever order raw cookie dough and eat? LOL, did at ours. Damn. Something caught in my throat this morning. You live in Sacramento. I was in Arkansas with my grandson's graduation. Can't buy any booze in most counties there. The only, Gala, the only counties I've ever been in that are dry counties, I was actually in one place in Texas, and I was visiting friends and family down there. One side of the street was completely dry, and the other side of the street you could drink all night long. And well, to like I think it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. But you could buy liquor and everything else on one side of the street, and the other side of the street was completely dry. So at night you'd watch people that just migrate from one side of the street. They'd leave their cars and everything. They'd just migrate across the street to where they could actually get beer, and spirits. Back there was Lone Star beer was whatever a lot of people were drinking. Lone Star and Modelo. Summit Shoes will be right back. But in Arkansas, I've been to Arkansas quite a bit when I was younger. I haven't been there since I've been drinking age. I haven't been to Arkansas, Tennessee, those states down, that part, well, from Texas to Florida. I haven't been in that part of the United States since probably 1990. Probably the last time I was down that way. Where are you going to be at, Gemma? Do you and your dad have plans to be somewhere? Is Lone Star? I don't know. If I mean, isn't the Family Guy? I mean, not Family Guy. Isn't King of the Hill? Isn't that set in Texas? I believe so. Maybe Lone Star is what Hank Hill drank. I'm back already. LOL. I don't know, Kitty Q. That's a good question. I just happen to have Google. I'm going to Google it. Did well, according to fandom.com, he drank what was called Alamo beer. It's considered to be the favorite beer of the series, Hank Hill, although there is an actual brewing company with a trademark filed in 1994 for an Alamo beer. Several later series that they changed the spelling from Alamo to dropping one A to Lamo beer, or changing the logo on the beer can. But Hank Hill mainly drank Alamo beer in the series. That's according to fandom.com. See? And now we all know something new. And there actually is a beer that has a trademark since 1994 for Alamo beer. So maybe there's a real Alamo beer out there that's being made. Ones were chocolate cookies with white stripes. They melted in your mouth. Mm. I forgot to turn this scroll off on the bottom. Chopped. There we go. Well, so far we've covered crime stories, cookies, who who's been hopefully getting better from after surgery, and beer. Email you and let you know, but off the top of my head of the list to meet. Well, yeah, please do email me, Jenna, and let me know where you guys have plans to visit at. I'll see if I can make it work with my schedule. We can meet up somewhere. They sell Duff beer at Universal Studios. Homer's beer, Duff beer. Duff Man. It's the Duff Man. Get a half dozen cookies there every time she took me to the mall. Damn, real nice mother you have. Do you think Richard Allen may be innocent? I do. See, Mike, it's a good question, and thank you for asking it. Do I think that Richard Allen may be innocent? I don't know. I'm gonna start off with that, Mike. I don't know, but at the same time, I don't know if Richard Allen acted alone, if he did have take any part of it. I think there's more to this story that we are not being told, that the detectives and the police department with Delphi, Indiana. I think there's a connection to a couple, well, at least two other people that may be involved. If Richard Allen did take part in it, if he did kill Abby and Libby, I don't think he acted alone. But I have not, from my side, been able to find the actual proof connection between Richard Allen and Abby and Libby, because I don't know what they removed from the home. I don't know what he burned in the fire pit in the backyard. nor do I know about a lot more. There's a lot that, where I have questions. I'm trying to make the connection between Richard Allen and the actual murders itself. And so and to me right now, I have to just say I don't know. Gazap, long time no see. I'm still pronouncing it wrong. I say because every time I see CAZP, I say Gazap. I know there's not another A in there, but Allen worked one block from the sheriff's office in plain view. Find it hard to believe. Eh, I don't. I don't find anything odd about that. I mean, look at how close some serial killers have worked, in connection with law enforcement, and how close of proximity they live, or how closely connected they were, to the actual law enforcement itself. And yeah, living, the best place to hide, Mike, is in plain view. Right there, working in the photo department, stocking shelves in the Rite Aid store. I mean, a normal, basic life, and trying to keep underneath the radar. That's the best place to hide. I mean, if you're a serial killer, or you commit crimes like this, the worst thing you can do is take off out of town afterwards. You want to stay right there and continue doing everything the same as you were doing before. The fly in here. I guess when it comes right down to it, Mike, though, we're gonna have to wait to see what how this all plays out. I know for myself, there's just way too. I have way more questions than I have answers to it all. I think Richard Allen is involved. His bang bang was used in the girl's murder. Ammo from it was found at the crime scene. He admitted he was there on that day and time. Just my opinion. I I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that somebody was in the same location as another crime it committed. Was committed later on, or even beforehand, and they didn't know about it. Yeah, I want to find that connection though. That one piece between why would he do this and the girls. What is there something else in his background? Because no one just goes from being a drunken idiot. I mean, there've been a lot of reports about him, and a lot of times where the sheriff came out to, or the police came out to his home because people were worried about him because he drank himself into a stupor again, and that, and get in arguments in local pubs, and there's stories like that and information. But how do you go from that to murdering two girls on a hiking trip? How do you go from here to here? That's a hard leap to make, and especially, someone who, like Gayla, you've worked in law enforcement. No one just starts off, and goes straight to murder. There's other things that they've done along the way. Well, I shouldn't say that nobody does, but I mean, it's hard to believe that somebody goes from here to here, without something else in the background. Violence against, his own family, something else. Was it personal? Is there a connection there that we don't know about? Did he have a gripe against one of the two girls' dads or uncles or whatever? We don't even know if they know him. I want those connections. I want those answers. Because the more of those answers I get, I might be able to move towards he's actually guilty of, the crime. But right now, he's just a man who has been charged with the crimes in jail. Yes, there is some circumstantial evidence and actual evidence that does point to him, but I still can't make that connection, at least in my mind. I'm working through it though. I have, since 2017, I haven't left this case. I just been in the background, just kind of researching and looking into it, and and keeping up on it. But man, who's the guy that that the girls that talk to, the pedophile? I'm drawing a blank on his name. I can picture him in that big black T-shirt. I thought there was a huge connection to him, and his father. Think there are others involved as well. Oh, thanks, Gemma. Actually, maybe he has committed other crimes and wasn't caught. It took 40 years to kill the Golden State Killer. Yeah, that's true. Very good point, Gala. It definitely did. But what other crimes are out there in the Delphi area? I've been looking into, what other crimes are out there that he may have committed. Um, there are a couple other unsolved murders of juveniles from in Delphi and around the surrounding areas. Did he commit those? Is there anything else that matches up to the same MO? That's what's intriguing about the entire thing, isn't it? We follow these cases and, people are arrested. Um, just happen to have statistics on that. When people are arrested and they're brought out in the media that this person's been arrested and charged with this crime or whatever, basically in the circumstances, 75% of people, when they hear a name or see a picture connecting it, and it says this person has been arrested for this crime, 75% without knowing anything about it will automatically assume that that person did the crime. 75% just on the initial. Well, they wouldn't have arrested them if they didn't do it or they weren't involved. Suicide rates are way up in the state, federal, and local jails across the United States. Not saying he's responsible for that. We'll need to see what evidence comes forth at the trial. Yeah, that's true. Keegan Klein. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, him and his dad, man. Woo, boy. Talk about some creepy individuals. Keegan and his father. Yeah, I thought for sure, when we first learned that Keegan had been talking to the girls when they were having a slumber party, and and they were the last person. He was one of the last people to talk to them. I was like, oh man, that don't look good. And he fits the same height. His father almost dead match to the person in the video, walking across the bridge. I'm surprised people haven't put the known videos of Keegan's dad up, side by side on, like on a split screen. Because if you take the two of them side by side, they're about the same build, the same, weight, everything, same height. Keegan's dad and the guy walking on the bridge who supposedly says get down the hill. Now remember, when it comes to that audio, we've only heard 7 seconds of that total audio, but there's like 1 minute and 32 seconds of actual recording, audio recording that they caught on the cell phone. But the police only released 7 seconds of it. So there might be something even more incriminating on there. Of maybe a better voice match. Maybe it's Richard Allen. Maybe it's Keegan Klein, or maybe it's Keegan Klein's dad, or maybe it's someone altogether completely different we don't even know about yet. Maybe they haven't charged this person because this person actually did flee, or maybe they're dead. I don't know. I mean, it's all just a guess, just off the top of my head. Oh, you're correct, Gayla. Anthony, um, Anthony Shots underscore Anthony underscore Shot Klein. Well, Anthony Shots, and he had pictures of he was using pictures of a young male model, and that's who they thought they were talking to. So yes, he was definitely catfishing them. He was trying to, and he was very successful at this for quite a some time, and had actually gotten a lot of teenage girls to send photos, compromising photos of themselves to this individual. That shit happens every day, and it's happening right now. There are teenage girls all over America, and teenage boys to some extent as well, who are sending compromising photos of themselves to predators out there. And it goes from not just teenagers, but pubescent, children as well, are sending these photos to these people, and they don't know who they are. They think that they're their friends. They talk to them. And that's how these pedophiles and people like the Kleins. That's how they exist, because they're able to get this information before they even have to go to the dark web, to find that stuff. Now all they got to do is make a fake profile. I mean, look at Catch a Predator, and Chris Hansen. I mean, how successful is that for so long? These people think that they're going to go to someone's house and have sex with a 11-year-old or 13-year-old little girl or boy. They don't care. It's sickening as it is. These people exist out there in the world, and they're trying to get our kids, our grandkids, our nieces, our nephews, anyone. They don't care who they hurt. Yeah. I'm surprised nobody's done a video on that, because his dad had a social media presence, and the videos were out there of his dad doing different things, and you can see him walking. I'm just surprised no one put the two videos side by side for comparison. It would be a long video doing that, but you could definitely talk about just how alike the two of them are, in a side by side comparison. I believe that law enforcement have been keeping a hush hush because there are others involved besides Alan. Keegan is just one of them. I think so too, Gayla. I think so too. I don't want to go more into it than that, but I think there's definitely enough. And when I said earlier that there are one or two other people that I think that are connected to Richard Allen, I'm not talking about the Kleins. I think there is one or two others from that area that are connected to him, but I haven't been able to infinitively, find that answer. If it, we probably would if they wouldn't, have the restrictions in place, and if the law enforcement would have been a little bit more open. But then again, I understand they don't want to jeopardize the case and the investigation. But I really think that there's at least one other man that from the area who's got an MO like this, but not murder, but everything else matches. Was a guy pictured who eventually got the job with the police? How crazy! Guilty? I know. I know. When it comes to my son, he loves to be on the internet, and he likes to watch YouTube videos, but he also likes to be on Snapchat. because he likes all the filters and stuff, and the different things you can put puppy dog ears and stuff like that on your photos. But there are some really creepy people out there that we've caught, who have been trying to talk to my 6-year-old son. And you're right, Gayla. It's really easy to lure people using social media, and a lot of adults don't really think or have the time to, step aside from themselves and think, what is my child doing on the internet? I mean, my son is 6 years old, and it's not uncommon for other kids at his school, in his first, second, third grade, to have a cell phone. I see these kids. I pick up my son from school sometimes. The rest of the time, he takes the school bus. He loves the school bus. But pick him up, and I see other kids from his class come out. They take their cell phone out of their backpack and turn it on. What does a first grader need with a cell phone? What? But then you have another school shooting, and boom, there's 100 more cell phones. Mom and dads flood the schools with cell phones after every school shooting. Like your son or your daughter in first grade, is going to think, oh, I need to call mom. I'm okay. The world we live in. The world we live in. Sensible crime. Good morning, sensible crime. I hope you are doing well. Super chat, Cat. Good morning. Hey, Will, there's a big uproar in our parliament. Uh-oh. I was just reading, sorry I'm late to this, but I know last week you commented on the Taco Podcast episode. I did see you, Super Chat Cat, on there. I didn't get a chance to respond to him this week. I'm really sorry for not commenting back to. I saw yours and Gemma's and others who watched last week's episode. This week's will be up to Taco Podcast video will be up tomorrow. Day late. I'm so far behind this week. It's unbelievably behind. But sorry about the uproar in your parliament. Paul Brando transferred to medium security prison. I saw Paul Bernardo had been transferred. Oh yeah, I saw that. You're good, sensible crime, good. What about his wife, Kat? I think she's still staying where she is. Aren't they just the sickest son of a? You fill in the blank. I mean, could you imagine luring your own sister or your loved one or anybody else to do that to? What they did to her? And I couldn't imagine doing something like that to my own family. I mean, you're a sick son of a, you fill in the blank, but my God, why do you have to, torment your own damn family or have one of your family members become a victim of your guys' sick, deprived minds? I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere. It's 420 somewhere. Smoke them if you got them. She has her own children, should be in prison as well, and makes handmade things for kids. Wow. I did not know that. I knew she had moved on, but I didn't know that she made things for kids. Was her last name Teal now? Oh God, she's got so many aliases. Wow. Unconditional release, July 4th, 2005. I didn't know she had been out that long. I thought she was in longer. How do you pronounce that? She lives in Mississauga, Ontario. Super chat, cat. How do you pronounce the? I don't want to dox her. How do you pronounce that name? How do you pronounce this? That's what city it says that she lives there. Mississauga. Married to her lawyer's brother. Miss it's pronounced Miss is Swagna. Okay. Married to, on the update on the article, it said she's used, I'm not kidding here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 different aliases. Carla Holcomb, was a first. She was born Carla Leanne Holcomb, also known as Carla Leanne Teal, Leanne Bordelis. And then she went by the following: Bordelis. Then she went by Bam, Bame, Bame, Bame. Bame. The E makes the A say its name. And it doesn't list the other aliases, but this lists those. I'm going by the news article for it, but I don't think that's correct. I believe she's still in Quebec. Well, what does it say? Back to it again. It says Ontario next to it. Claudia Rebecca, good morning and welcome. Saga for the last part. Mississauga. Yeah. But either way, I didn't know she'd been out that long. I thought she got released. In my mind, I thought it was. Oh, I forgot to turn the damn camera back on. So you guys can see me. I thought that she was still in prison up until like 2010 or 2012. I didn't know she got released in 2005. Wow. I thought she did a lot longer. She should. She should still be there. Jan, we're talking about Paul Bernardo and Tammy Holcomb. She was convicted of 2 murders, but I think that she was involved in at least 3 or 4. I'm not sure right off the top of my head. Somebody can correct me on that, but I think she was convicted of two counts of murder. I'm just surprised that she's out of prison. I really am. I thought in my mind, I thought she was in prison until 2010 or 2012. But according to the news article I pulled up, she had been in prison until 2005, July 4th, and then she got out. Thanks to Canadian radio. Yeah. Oh, Paul Bernardo, and Tammy Holcomb. I mean, that was a huge huge deal once they were caught. The sick, depraved things that they did. But I remember hearing about it way before I ever started, YouTube. Way before. She didn't she only do 5 or 7 years? Some deal they cut. I don't know. So, man, hopefully somebody can answer that problem. The problem with our system is our life without parole means 25 years, no lifetime. Well, and here on this side of the border, when you get in Washington State, if you're sentenced to 25 years, 25 to life, you have to do 3/4 of that 25 years. And then once you do the 3/4 of that 25 years, the 20, so 3/4 of that, the very next year, you're automatically eligible for parole in Washington State if you're sentenced to 25 to life. So, you do 3/4 of it, and most don't get out on their first time of parole. And then every 2 years they reevaluate you for parole again. And usually when they deny you parole, they then say, okay, you have to meet these stipulations. If you meet those, we didn't believe that this person, is honest or whatever it might have been, or sorry for what they did. And it could be a lot of different reasons why they deny parole, but then they come back in 2 years, and then another 2 years, and you know, and then there are inmates, and people who have been convicted of crimes like Ed Kemper, and he's never done any time in prison itself. He's been in the state mental hospital in the state of California, but he's point blank. He's told them, "Don't ever release me. I don't want to go out. I know if I'm back out on the streets, I'm going to kill again." And he doesn't care what age he is when he gets out. If he was to be released, he knows he can go right back to doing what he had done before. Because to a large extent, Ed really is insane, but he's a smart man, very intriguing. Prisons are harder to manage when people have no hope for parole. You thought California was bad, Gala? Well, the prison system everywhere is bad, Gala. It is bad everywhere. And there are others, like here in Washington State, we have a lot of policies that are currently being enforced just like in California. But here, if the police see you doing a hand-to-hand drug deal, they don't do anything about it. Not right now. You want to get away from the cops, just speed off. As long as you're not intoxicated or they think you're intoxicated, they can chase you, and end the chase, stopping you by, spike strips or whatever. But we just had a case here not too long ago where a gentleman stole 7 cars in the span of less than a week and a half. And they tried to stop him. He rammed some squad cars and then stole another car, after that car became disabled, and then he fell asleep in a drug-induced coma, state, behind the wheel of a car in a parking lot, then took off and tried to run over some cops, on foot. They were on foot. It ended up with, he ended up in a shootout with cops and he ended up dying. But I mean, this thing just kept on going for days and days on end, following in the news. But their hands are tied, and that's why so many people are leaving law enforcement, at least here, in my state, because they're tired of making the arrest, watching them go to jail, and then it's just a revolving door. They just come right back out again. The justice system is fucking broke. Sorry for my language, but it's fucking broken in so many different states. You know, that people stand up and they say they want to get tough on crime, and then they do these backwards things where they start letting people out of jail because they call them low, profile, low risk offenders. Okay, they just go right back out and destroy society even more. I hope they don't let that clown Luke Magada out of prison at the 25-year mark. Maybe some cat lover will be waiting for him. Oh, right? I hope so. When people have no hope for parole, sensible crime, it does make it hard because, like, what do I have to lose? If I'm never getting out of here. Did Lucky Kemper turn himself in? Yeah, that's true. Very true. Glad I'm retired. My nephew is in law enforcement in California and is counting the months until he can get out. Well, good luck, your nephew. And a lot of people don't understand, the risks that are involved in those who are out on the streets or in even if you're in corrections, in law enforcement. Every day you put on that uniform and you walk out there, you have no idea if you're ever going to come back through that door again. I have so many friends who were in law enforcement and people absolutely hate on them because, well, they're law enforcement. Down with the pigs. See it all the time. I mean, they all had to turn off their social media and everything else, especially right around the time the Black Lives Matter. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. We need to bring awareness to the abuse. Hell, the Justice Department just released a report about the systemic, how bad the Minneapolis Police Department is. As a teenager, and this is pasty white boy right here. As a teenager growing up in Minneapolis, in the Minneapolis area, we all knew this. The system was corrupt as hell back then. I mean, it took all the way to George Floyd before somebody realized that there was something seriously wrong with the Minneapolis Police Department and other police departments across the nation. The bad apples are the reason why we need to get people out. But there are good ones out there. My friends, in particular, my family, and who are in law enforcement in Oregon and and across this nation. They would never dream of doing any of these things, that we hear about in the news to another person. They just want to make their community safe and do the right thing. But the hatred comes. The system's broken, and we blame this, the person in front of us who is the officer for the system being broken and watching the perpetrator, come in and out. He beats the wife on Tuesday. He's back out on Thursday. It's not the officer's fault that the person's back out on Thursday, but that's the person we aim. They're right there in front of us. It's your fault that they're out on Thursday. No, it's not. It's the system. We're lucky we even kept them in jail for 2 days. No, it doesn't. But I think every state should have low security prisons. They are cheaper than high security, and people have an incentive to behave and stay in low security. It depends upon the what state sensible crime. Most state prisons have multi-tier systems. Low, which is like a work farm, all the way up to well, not every state has a supermax, but they have a level 4, 5, I think, and then supermax is 6. But most, I mean, just about every state has something between work farm up to like a 4 or 5. Now there is only one level when it comes to federal, and there's county jail. When it comes to county jail, they have multiple different levels. There's low level. You're at home. You wear an ankle monitoring bracelet. Up to you're incarcerated in county, or work release is in between there. So ankle bracelet, work release, you're locked up in county jail. So there are, there are incentives to do good, but it comes down to the individual, and every circumstance. If you decide to be a fuck off, again, sorry for my language, but you decide to be that way, you're going to be that way. You feel like there's no hope, there's no hope. If you could just make the best of your situation, if you've been sentenced to 25 to life or 416 years, make the best of your life. You don't have to be a screw off, for those, for the remainder of your life while you're behind bars. I toured Marion. That would have been cool as hell. The only prison that I've ever toured was I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it is Stillwater Penitentiary in Minnesota. And you want to talk about a fun field trip? Oh yeah, a field trip, ladies and gentlemen. I was 10 or 11 years old. I'm not kidding you. This was a school trip. Yeah, we toured Stillwater Penitentiary. They brought us to the into the prison. We got to see the actual prison cells. We got to go to an advantage point in a tower and look out over the yard and watch people playing basketball, and weightlifting. This was back in the 80s. But anyways, and then we got to go see the solitary confinement. I don't know if we ever went to death row or if they even have death row at Stillwater. I'm pretty sure they did, or back then. But this was a field trip. Yeah, a whole school bus full of children, and we weren't bad kids. It was just something that they decided to do. We lived right there, near the prison. It was like, okay, we could go to the science fair, or we could go, to the nuclear plant and visit that, or we can go to Stillwater Penitentiary. It scared the living shit out of every kid who was there. And I remember a lot of kids who were there crying because some of the inmates, we came in through the door, they just started screaming and hooting and hollering at us. I was just like, what is this place? This is massive. I didn't think anything of it like, well, they're going to lock me up here or anything like that. I mean, it was scary. Yeah. I mean, this isn't exactly Home Depot. In the 6th grade, they had addicts come in and show us their track marks. Wow. But they are not paid nearly well enough. We used to do tours of our jails with you. But yeah, Stillwater Penitentiary is the only prison that I've ever been to. Now I've been to our county, the county that I live in now, our county lockup. Our county lockup has got four floors. Well, there's a 5th floor, but the 5th floor is what do they call it? It's not solitary confinement. It's like segregation, and it's mainly used for ICE. Immigration enforcement is the 5th floor, but I've been there since. Well, it originally started off as just 3 floors, and then they added the other 2 floors to it. But I've been there quite a few times to when it before it ever originally opened, because everything that before it opened, every city had their own county, their own city jail. But then they got rid of that, and they have now a county jail that holds city and county and state, and then they actually bring prisoners here because they get paid to house them here. But I've been there quite a few times and toured that. I've been to other jails and toured those as well. But Stillwater Penitentiary is the only prison I've ever been to tour. Don't ever want to be an inmate. The Justice Center on a field trip and we saw no inmates. I go over to the Justice Center because I mean I know the place inside and out because my friend is a district court judge. So I go over. We used to do 2 times a week, but now we're back to just 1 time a week because of his work schedule. And I'll stop by Jimmy John's and I'll pick up sandwiches and then we have lunch together. It's the only time I get to see him other than on Sundays, if I go fishing or I go with him while he fishes. It's his only escape because he's a lawyer still. I mean, top of being a district court judge, he's still a lawyer, but everything he does now in his law practice is like probate and setting up wills and stuff like that. But he really enjoys being a district court judge. Fourth grade, my school took my class to a local children's hospital, and we gawked at kids with cancer and burn victims. Oh, Francie, good morning. Sorry I missed you earlier if you were here. I hope you're doing well, and welcome to this morning's stream. I got about another 3 minutes, and then I have to wrap this up. But I always wondered, when it comes going back to the touring of penitentiaries and jails, they used to have, I don't know if they still do it, but they had that Scared Straight program that you saw on A&E and other television programs where they would bring these kids that were screwing up in life and they would bring them to jails and inmates would yell at them and scream at them. I wonder what the actual success rate of something like that was. I always wondered that because they never dove into that. Like, let's do a follow up 5 years after we took little Tommy to the prison, and had an inmate scare him so bad he wet himself and cried all day. Did Tommy change his ways? Did Tommy go straight on the straight and narrow, or did Tommy end up murdering his entire family in the school because they sent him there? I always wondered what happened to some of those, those kids that went through those programs. JDR, good morning. Good morning, JDR. I run into JDR on where I see JDR on more places online than the rest of y'all. I saw JDR last night on Web Sleuths, and if you guys haven't checked out Web Sleuths with Trisha, go over and type it into your YouTube search box and go over and check out Web Sleuths, all one word, and so give her a thumbs up, subscribe if you will. She does great streams. And ping, don't forget about ping the router. I do think we have a moral obligation to tell kids about drugs and prison, but terrifying them makes no sense to me. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that. I just wonder, when it comes to those TV shows and those Scared Straights, I mean, what's the success rate? I mean, we know that the DARE program that they had in schools was a colossal failure. Not just by how much money they spent on the DARE program, but how it was run and how much success they actually had keeping kids off of drugs. They knew it within the first 2 years that the DARE program was a colossal failure, but we just kept on pumping more and more and more money into it, and hoping that maybe we can morph it into something else that will work. It never worked. When it comes to keeping kids off of drugs, the strongest and the number one thing that has always worked is education, and number two is peer-to-peer contact. other kids talking to themselves at the same level and in the same atmosphere and from the same school. Not bringing kids from the inner school to bring them out to the to the suburbs and blah 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 back and forth and going. This is what's going on in drugs in our school. This is what we do. You shouldn't do. If they don't have that connection with each other, it doesn't help. It doesn't work. To have an officer stand up there and scare you, to stay off of marijuana and tell you that marijuana is the gateway drug to everything, it doesn't work. And they knew it, but we just kept on throwing more and more money at it, going, I guess we have to do something. Maybe they looked at it as, well, if we kept one kid off of drugs, that was, let's say, we'll call it a success. That wasn't what it was meant. The program was meant to be, and it never worked that way. Parents should teach their kids about drugs a little at a time. I tried teaching my son about brains and substances. Oh, and how the substances affect the brain. That's a good way to go. I agree with that. I didn't even know he was there. I got surprised. Ooh, who was it? Who was it? Who are we talking about, man? Oh, Charlie. Charlie. Charlie was there. Oh, Charlie. Well, did the visiting morgues or hospital rooms ever, after drunk driving accidents programs work? That's a good question, JDR. I wonder the same thing. That's a good question. Do any of those programs actually work? I don't know about that one. I know about the DARE program because my friend, who is in law enforcement, he was the DARE coordinator for the city. He doesn't work in my city; he works in one town over. But he was a DARE coordinator, and he was like, "I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting taxpayer money." Because they're able to show statistically that for every dollar they kept on pumping into the program and how much they expanded and how much outreach they had, it wasn't making any difference at all. They were still seeing the same drug usage in teenagers and preteens and as they were before the program was ever introduced. And I'm like, so I'm wasting money if you're not, if you don't see any kind of decline at all. Well, happy Father's Day, and to all dads here. Father's Day is the 18th. Today, it's tomorrow. Oh, Jesus, my gosh. You're right, Francie. It is tomorrow. Tomorrow is Father's Day, and Monday is my birthday. Every 3 years, Father's Day falls on my birthday. So Father's Day Monday, Father's Day is tomorrow, Sunday, and then Monday, yay, I made it another year. But yes, happy Father's Day to everyone out there. If your father's here with you today, or if they're gone, or just not around, I wish them all a happy Father's Day. And to the mothers out there that pulled double duty, while you were growing up and probably, well after, you became an adult, happy Father's Day, to them as well. There are a lot of parents out there that pull double duty, and a lot of grandparents who have had to pick up, where their children have fallen, and they had to come step in and be the mother and the grandfather, and father and mother. They had to take on those roles all at the same time. But happy Father's Day to everyone. But thank you, Francie. I was like, I thought that was still another week away. I guess I'm learning something too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to take off. I hope you all have a great day today, and everyone. And before I, click off here today, I hope you have a terrific weekend. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. And to everyone, Stay safe out there. Tomorrow, again, trivia night is at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are playing Hollywood Life and Murder tomorrow night. So the questions are on Hollywood life and on murders, within the Hollywood itself and in the industry of motion pictures and music. So it's a little bit of everything. I tried to make it as diverse as possible, and all of the questions are on the same difficulty level. Unlike before, where we had difficulty from high, low to, very easy to very hard questions. These are all at the same exact level. Bear will take it easy tomorrow. Jan, thank you again for being here. I hope you have a terrific weekend. Gayla, thank you. Reminds me, I have to make a pasta salad for dinner. Ooh, I want pasta salad. I'm probably gonna have cold pizza because I'm gonna be by myself tonight, so I have to make my own dinner. And there's leftover pizza in the stove. All right, bye everyone. Thank you again. Until next time.